Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the program Spot On. My name is Jacqueline Adebija, and you're listening to Invicta 98.9 FM. You see, in Nigeria, we do have many challenges, but I think many Nigerians would agree that one of the most potent, one of the most sorely in need of attention challenges that we have right now is the problem of stigmatization. We make generalized statements. We expect for them to go for everyone. And yet, when the tables are turned and we are lumped together with people that we really do not have anything in common with except for the fact that we're probably from the same ethnic extraction, we begin to foam at the mouth. It is a real huge challenge, a clear and present danger to not just the unity of this country, but that of Africa. We have a challenge of stigmatization. We stigmatize people. We stigmatize ourselves. But it gets even more worrying when the stigmatization or that careless, irresponsible spewing of statements that do nothing but to cause even more hatred and bigotry in our society comes from people who should know better, government officials. The challenge of stigmatization in Nigeria is what we're talking about this evening. And with me in the studio, someone who hasn't been here in quite a while, Mr. Timothy Dokbesi Adidi. It's great to have you in the studio with us this evening, Mr. Adidi. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here. Happy New Month.
And Happy New Year. We haven't seen you in a while.
Same to you.
Now, the problem of stigmatization, Mr. Dokbesi, is a huge problem. A lot of Nigerians, day in, day out, you open up your radio, you go online, you find Nigerians throwing all sorts of slurs at each other, ethnically profiling each other. We have thrown away the concept and principle of patriotism, of being Nigerian first above any other label or tag that you might have out there. And the media, in its position as the fourth estate of the realm, we do try. Some people would say that we're part of the problem. But once again, it's a problem of stigmatization. Because while some media houses, media organizations might have nefarious agenda for Nigeria or towards Nigeria, there are also a lot of media houses. Invicta is one where we try our best to not only douse tensions, but to help people see the foolishness of what we're doing. So imagine how helpless we feel when you see that these kind of statements are coming from people who should know better, like I said, government officials. And particularly in this situation, I refer to the person of Ibrahim Al-Hassan, the pressman of his principal, the Code of Conduct Tribunal chairman or head, who had a run-in with a security man sometime during this week, and a statement was put out in defense of his principal. And in all of that, let's even forget the grammatical errors that were replete in that statement. He came with Biafran boys. Now, the Biafran boys statement is not the first of us in Nigeria being very irresponsible in the way we approach matters. I mean, the sorry state in which we find ourselves, where we lump every Fulani person into a box and call them killers, that foolish bent on calling even innocent people. Because for a lot of Nigerians, we know that the kidnappers and so-called killer herdsmen with Boko Haram, we might have ethnicities that form a major part of it, but we also have other ethnicities. This we have been able to prove time and again from the little times that we've had government come out to show us the faces of culprits. And so we haven't learned. It started from the Fulani and now we're talking Biafra. Do we even have a Biafra in Nigeria? And so I come to you, Mr. Didi. The problem of stigmatization in Nigeria. This issue of wanting to see ourselves as every other thing that is not good before we see ourselves as Nigerians. Where did this problem start and how can we end it? Because, like I said, it is a clear and present danger to our health.
Thank you once again for having me, Jacqueline Adebija. It's good to see you once again. Stigmatization, very broad term. Maybe I'll narrow it down to social stigmatization. And social stigmatization for me is a human problem. It's not just a Nigerian problem. It's a human problem. Whether in Europe, in America, in Africa, it is a human problem. You remember the case of, even in the case of Rwanda, the Hutu and the Tutsi. These were the issues. You talk about xenophobia. These are the issues. So, like I said, it's a human problem. And unfortunately, we are in a climb where politics has also magnified this idea of social stigmatization. Of course, you've seen it play out at the issue of the CCT chairman reactions from the press statement being given, and of course the issue of the banditry, Fulani, and of course the Fulanization that people are talking about. So it's a human problem, and as a human problem, I think basically that it's a process. It's a process of rebuilding, constructing, engineering our social humanization and upholding the dignity of the human person. You see, we are far from it, and that is why I keep telling people in Nigeria, we seem not to understand the context when we say democracy is discussed. Some of us just think that democracy is all about voting in elections and that is all. The democracy is hinged on the dignity of the human person, irrespective of tribe, religion, political affiliation, or whatever affiliation. It goes beyond that. And so therefore, if I have respect for the human person first, it's the beginning of solving the problem. But as it is, the respect for the human in America, when of course when people like Martin Luther King were fighting against racism, these are all part of it. These were all part of it. The case of Floyd. These are all part of it. These are all stigmatization. When you see a black man, and the moment I remember sometime in 1991, then when my rector in the minor seminary in Lokoja went to Germany and came back, he brought a magazine that reads on the heading, "Do not go into business with a Nigerian unless you want to take a risk." Such kind of comments. So the moment if a German citizen sees me, and maybe even if I'm going to be genuine, the prejudice, the bias that comes to mind at that point is that I'm taking a risk. So it's a human problem, and you've said it. If we don't deal with the issue now, we might be moving towards another war, and I can guarantee you we will not be able to. And if this one, I think it will even be more than that of the Hutu and the Tutsi that took place in Rwanda. When I heard, was it not recent? They said those in Kano said that the Yoruba should leave Kano within the next 24 hours. These are the issues. Lagos will say those Yoruba people should live, Hausa people should live in Lagos. These are the issues. And yet, the fundamental principle that guides our constitution is the freedom of movement, the freedom to settle down wherever you want to settle down. So it's unfortunate. You have raised a very, very serious issue that the government as an institution need to work hard. And the truth is, these areas, they don't work hard towards it. We have the national orientation agencies who are supposed to be promoting some of these things. The only thing they promote, only God knows. I don't usually feel their impact in terms of restructuring the system. When I talk about restructuring the system, I'm not talking about the political restructuring. We're talking about restructuring the minds of the people. And this is very, very key. The mind.
Mr. Adidi, you have raised several, points in your submission right now, and my mind just quickly goes to the person of Donald Trump, and in reverse, the person of Paul Kagame. Now, America, or the United States of America, used to be hitherto the land of the free. That was its popular nickname. That place where all dreams can come true. Any man could go there, and your dreams would come true if you worked hard enough, until the advent of a person like Donald Trump. And suddenly, we see an America that we really do not understand. The picture isn't too clear anymore. An America where hate and bigotry has also become the order of the day. And then let's quickly take a look at a place like Rwanda, where a man took up leadership of a country that we thought would never recover from a genocide that happened in such a small country. But in, let's say, 22 years, Paul Kagame came on board at the beginning of the millennium. And today, Rwanda has become, a tourist destination. And so we come to the importance. A lot of times, no man is an island. One man cannot make the change. We keep talking about one person not being able to make that difference. But in looking at these two examples that I just brought up, are we really right in saying that one man cannot make the difference? Because while a lot of people might say someone like Ronald Reagan was also, a covert or undercover white supremacist, America, the United States of America, did not have it this bad, where we have divisions even within their legislative house. There are divisions, deep divisions, that we do not see ending anytime soon. And then we go over to a place where brothers killed brothers in Rwanda. And today we have a man being celebrated. And so questions crop up.
Yeah.
John Magufuli, another person.
Yeah.
Now he's gone. Is it this Uhuru that we're looking for? Is it one man that we're looking for? Or is it a change of mindset? Because it seems to me like, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that one person is actually who makes the difference, not this thing that we keep talking about, a general mindset reset for people. What we need is a social engineer. Oh, by the way, we're live on Facebook, so you can actually go drop your comments there. You want to contribute into the discussion right now, please send a text message also to the number 09072703270. Mr. Adidi, is it one man that Nigeria is looking for?
I love your comparison. I love your comparative analysis. Donald Trump, democracy in America. You see, I'm a socio-political scholar, and I'm one person that have always said the problem of the world today is the problem of man, the human being. You see, I will be deceiving myself if I see America as the perfect model of democracy. I'll be deceiving myself. You see, no system of government is perfect. Just as the human being is not perfect. No matter the institution, no matter how strong the institution is, look, as long as it is controlled by a human being, expect the worst. Look, in a country like America, where democracy is celebrated, where people think that, but it will even shock you where people are talking about with the gender equality. Was it not in Africa that we had the first female president? Has America ever produced the first female president? It was just recently they had a female vice president. So, and I keep telling people, we celebrate democracy more in Africa than even in America. It's just that unfortunately, we tend not to get it right, and the pace at which we are going in our democratic consolidation, there are factors that are affecting it. So we get it clear at that point. So Donald Trump, it might surprise other people, but it's not going to surprise me, because Donald Trump is a human being, and of course, when it comes to power, you should expect the worst from any human being. So that aside, then let's go to Rwanda. Paul Kagame, you mentioned great men, John Magufuli. These are people have understood it. And I've said it to people, and whether we want to take it or not, I keep saying this is my position on this matter. Let me tell you something. Look at Singapore. Lee Kuan Yew, how did they get where they are today? They were in a worst situation. Let me take you to Rwanda. How did they get to where they are today to have been able to produce whom they have produced as president? They were in the worst situation. Remember, John Magufuli, Tanzania too, were in a difficult situation where people like Julius Nyerere came out using the Ujamaa principle to facilitate social engineering. Nigeria has not yet gotten to that stage, my sister, I must tell you the truth, because people are still drinking in the beer parlor. As I'm talking to you now, if you go to the beer parlor, people are drinking alcohol. Why? Because they feel that we don't have problem in this country. If you go, people are still wait on Saturday and see on the street, you see big celebration, big events. Well, I don't think Nigerians are feeling the impact of the banditry, Boko Haram, kidnapping. Nigerians are not yet feeling the impact. Why? Because we are still celebrating. By the time we get to the level of where I and you cannot even come out to the station to discuss like this, then we know that our problem is a serious problem. We've not gotten there. So we take a lot of things for granted. Countries that have gotten to where they, like the case of Rwanda you have spoken about, they seen it all. Where a pregnant woman will be, even the civil war, we thought we would have learned from the civil war. It seems we did not learn. Because for me, the civil war was just a child's play. And I don't think you will compare the civil war with the Rwanda genocide. You can't compare. That Rwanda genocide was the peak of the Rwanda situation.
Why do you say that? Is it because of the brevity of time? Because it seems to me like we lost more people. From estimates during our civil war, we had over 3 million people die. But Rwanda is about 1 million. It's a small country, so we can't even begin to compare the numbers. Rwanda happened over the period of 100 days.
Yes, yeah.
Ours was years.
Yes.
So where do we get off talking about it isn't as serious?
Yeah, now this is the point. This is the point. You see, if you look at the way Rwanda situation was portrayed, if you look at the way the civil war was portrayed, you will know that if you go back to history, the civil war was not really, it's like the presentation of the civil war was highly diplomatic in Nigerian history. And that is why if you go study the books in Nigerian history, you see this version, you see this other version, you see this other version, polemic versions. You discover that the war was highly, in fact the presentation of these versions were highly political to the extent that the gravity of what took place, nobody felt the impact. Whether psychologically, physically, or at most, in terms of economically. But look at that of the, and you said the population are very, very small. So you know what it means. When the population is very, very small, the geography is very, very small, you know that the impact will be very, very high. It's going to be very, very high. As compared to Nigeria that is vast. You understand? There is a vast land. And so therefore, even if what happened in Maiduguri, the fact is, even maybe if you even go to Maiduguri during that war, maybe nobody died. Maybe if you even go to a place like Edo, maybe a concentration of a place that it happened where people saw as, of course, if you look at people who saw the civil war, if they tell you the experience, as compared to those who were kids. Now, and our generation who are about 40 to 41 years old, you know, were kids then when the civil war. So you can imagine that at this point we will not know what it means. But the Rwanda crisis was just when, not quite long. We saw how it happened, and so therefore, between now and then, you should look at the devastating effect it has had on the people then, and the need for a social engineer, like you said, to take up the situation.
So are you agreeing that it's one person we're looking for, or a change of mindset of the people of Nigeria?
No, you see, in Nigeria, to even get that one person is going to be a problem. And I cannot even guarantee you that in the next election we're going to get that person. I cannot guarantee you. In fact, let me just tell you this thing. You see, the only hope I sell as a Nigerian, the only commodity I sell as a Nigerian is hope. And you know, there are two kinds of hope: real hope and pseudo hope. Now, I don't even know the one I have, whether it is real hope or pseudo hope, because I will not want my children to be hopeless. But the truth is this: with the way things are going, we might only be selling fake hope, pseudo, fake one. Because I cannot guarantee you that even in the next election, we are going to produce a Paul Kagame. I cannot guarantee you that even in the next election, we are going to produce a John Mahmood. Because in the first place, who are those that are even coming out for the presidency?
Okay, well, we don't know that yet.
Yeah,
we don't have a lineup yet.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting from you as you're talking to me is that, because they say that the leadership of any people or any country is a reflection of the people. So if you are not sure, even if whether you are experiencing hope, true hope or false hope, regarding who our next leader would be, that means that you are not confident in the people of Nigeria.
Yeah, you see, Jack, let me tell you something. You see, you have to understand the fact that the Nigerian people themselves are a problem to the political institutions. And I need to be very, very clear on this, because I think our methods of searching for a leader in Nigeria is still within the confines of not reason, but the stomach. Nigerians don't reason. I can guarantee you, Jacqueline, if I decide to come out as a president of this country, Jacqueline, I must need money to give to people. Nigerians are still the kind of Nigerians that will go and vote based on how much get in. You remember the case of Maurice Mulumba from Kenya, who contested for presidency. And what did he say? He went to villages, gave them ideas, talked, he was, trying to let them know that he would be the best candidate. And of course, he was winning he was from the opinion pool, right? He was taking the lead. But when politicians went to begin to share money to the people, what happened? The pool, it didn't turn around. It turned around. And the other guy won. You see, we've not gotten to that stage where you can begin to now think that Nigerians can vote irrespective of what they get.
What makes the difference between us? Because there are poor people in countries like Venezuela, like the United States of America, like, just about any other country that would...
Political education. Now, let me tell you something. Political education. Let me tell you something. You see, our electoral education in Nigeria is very, very poor. Very, very poor. Very poor.
Is it poor?
It's very, very poor. Let me tell you why.
Is it poor, or what we churn out during that educational drive or political educational drive is what the problem is? Because I do know that when we're talking about going out and voting,
yes,
Nigerians are really good. When they want to turn out, they turn out.
No. You see, one thing is to go out to vote. Anybody can go out to vote. But the question, are you voting the right candidate? What is informing your vote as a Nigerian? If, for example, there are two can ask you, why are you voting for this candidate? It is difficult for somebody in Nigeria to tell that he's voting for somebody either because we are from Christians, either because we are from Igbo land, either because we are from Yoruba. It is difficult. In this country, it is difficult. And the day you don't even, if, for example, somebody get to know that you did not vote from somebody from your place, it's going to be a problem to you. So even the whole idea of strict rules that even guide political participation, it's difficult. It's difficult. If for example somebody from a village is contesting and I don't vote for that person, and people get to know that I did not vote for that person, I'll be in problem. Serious problem. We heard you did not vote for him.
Okay, so two things quickly out of this, because we're trying to reason together. Is it that Nigerians do? Because I take a look at Nigeria as a whole, and whether it be the person of President Yakubu Gowon, who hails from Plateau State, or the person of President Muhammadu Buhari, who hails from a place like Katsina, carved out of the old Kaduna State, or the person of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who hails from Bayelsa State, carved out of old River State. I do not see serious development, positive impact of having had those people in power in those areas. I do not see it. I stand to be corrected. That's one. Secondly, I do not see that it has been, apart from infrastructure, okay, maybe I should be more specific, infrastructural development in those areas. I don't think one can even begin to compare, even to states that came later on, like Cross River State. You know, we're talking about a place like Old Kaduna and then Katsina. Do you understand? And then we're talking about a place like Bayelsa coming out of River State, where oil-rich state. I haven't seen neither infrastructural impact, positive impact on the infrastructure, nor even on the economic and political status of people who hail from that place. And I don't think I'm the only one who has observed this. And so one needs to ask, if we as Nigerians, and then of course, secondly, before I go to that, secondly, when you take a look at a place like the Niger Delta, we've, a lot of Nigerians saying, the solution to this problem is for us to restructure. Let's go back to regions. Some even are agitating for going back to blocks. I saw one, I would call it a silly map, where I saw Savannah and something, Oduduwa and Biafra, Niger Delta and Ariwa. And I said, even within those blocks, are those blocks homogeneous? When I say homogeneous, is it just one people who are in that place? Because I know that in a place like Port Harcourt or River State, the Niger Delta, you have the Ijaw, you have the Kalabari, you have the Ikwere, you have the Igbo too, you have, they're a mix, and I know that I haven't even finished calling them. You come up north, you are talking about the Angas, the Jukun, so if we are to take a critical look at this, I feel a silly cry to go back to what we have left behind. Where will that division stop? Because I can guarantee you that in a place like Benue State, the Tiv and the Idoma have had, and before then, when the Igala were with them, there had always been that power tussle. The Igala left them and went to Kogi State. In Kogi State, we have the Okun, the Igbira, and the Igala now beginning to struggle for that. Nobody is even talking about people like the Basanges, who are also from Kogi State. So the question is, where will this, if we say that going back to regional blocks or restructuring in the sense of breaking up this country is what makes sense, where will that breaking up stop? Are we going to break up to each hut? And so I come back, seeing this picture, the fact that development, the average Bayelsan, the average Plateau man, the average Katsinan has not been able to feel the positive impact of having their brother on the throne, so to speak, of Nigeria. Why do we continue to hold on to those mundane sentiments? And when we also know, and I'm pretty sure, take a look at Kaduna State. You can begin to draw out clans. We could go up to 70. The other day I had our political analyst, in-house political analyst, and he was saying that even in southern Kaduna, you have people who say, look, shut up, we are in the majority and you are in the minority. So for any reasonable Nigerian who is looking at our situation today, it is clear that this going our separate ways isn't the solution.
Yeah, you see, Jacqueline, you have said it very, and that is why.
So why do we have it? What is the problem? Why are we having people unable
that is why,
to conceptualize this thing in their brain and let it allow it shape who they are and who they would vote for?
And that is why I told you first and foremost that this thing is a human problem, and two, it's not that there's no way out. There's a way out. Now you talked about restructuring, and you I agree with you. Let me tell you, you cannot restructure where there's no structure. In the first place, we can only be restructuring in Nigeria when we have a structure. But as it is, we don't have a structure. And the only thing I can tell you that is a structure we need to have for us to be restructured is the constitution. Nigeria don't have a constitution, as far as I'm concerned.
Why?
Yeah, because if you look at it, already the constitution itself has given room to some of these. In Rwanda, when the young man took over leadership, the first thing he did was that when you are filling your form, there's no place for state of origin anymore. There's no place for religion anymore. Anything that creates that division, that segregation, that discriminative tendency is no longer there. Then no.
Is it our constitution that put that on our forms?
No. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. You need to take.
It wasn't the constitution.
Somebody needs to be decisive. And honestly speaking, I don't want to begin to call names. People who have taken leadership position. I think the young man who would have done who would have done better in this regard should have been President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. God rest his soul. He was taking us to the right path. And I love the way that man began. You see, I'm not from the north. I'm from the south. But I can guarantee you that I think that man began a process. I have been in this country where
So, Mr. Didi, we go back to it's one man we're looking for.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. I'm getting the point. I have been in this country where I did in the Kaduna State here, where I was analyzing this government, and somebody chatted me on Facebook and said, Timothy, you know you're not from Kaduna State. You have no business in Kaduna State politics, and so therefore leave it for the indigenes to discuss Kaduna issues. But this person does not know that I pay tax in Kaduna. He did not come from that angle. But when it comes to issues to be discussed, he tried to distance me from the people of Kaduna State. That is the mentality we're talking about. I agree with you. It takes one man. The question now, who is going to be this man? That is where the problem is. Who is going to be this man?
So, at the risk of sounding like someone who has some ulterior motive, I would like, because we've had people, and we still have people in places of decision making who have been radical in some of the decisions they've taken. And what we've done is stone them. And I think a lot of people, rational people who are passionate about this country, did not speak up loud enough to say, look, this is what needs to be done for Nigeria to start to heal. So, do you think that patriotic Nigerians are not being patriotic enough? They're not speaking up loud enough?
No, it depends on what you understand by being patriotic, because patriotism in Nigeria, being patriotic in Nigeria has a lot of nuances. You see, we are in a country where patriotism could be defending what is evil in this country. This is a patriotic Nigerian. When you defend, you know what you are doing. I have given an example before. If, for example, let's say, for example, Raymond Dokpesi is from Edo State, and he steals 300 million naira from federal government coffers, and I from Agenebode in the same town with Dokpesi, and I speak up to say that it was wrong to have stolen, there will be people within my environment who will throw stones at me.
So should that be your fear?
No, that is not the issue. We have been doing it. That should not be my fear. But the point is this. You see, one person, even if, let me tell you something, it is going to be difficult for one person to change the system. Because it is not only Paul Kagame who is doing this work. If you really go and check, he has taken people of like minds to work with him. If I'm the only person, I will not go anywhere. So the ability, first of all, to get the right person, and the right person getting the right people.
You know,
so if, for example, for example, as a president, I know that if I become a president of Nigeria from Edo State, and I know that a Hausa man can deliver, why would I not give the position to an Hausa man? But
would you, knowing this, that you have a Hausa person who you know can deliver?
Yes.
Say, for instance, someone who will help you rejuvenate the internally generated revenue in Edo State.
Yes.
A Hausa man.
Yes.
Would you take him?
Fast.
So why would you not at that time be afraid of what your people would say?
No, that's what I'm telling you. That you see, we've not. You see, I have not gone to the level of making myself too pronounced. There was a time in Kaduna.
You know,
I need to give
we have to go on a break now.
I need to give you an instance before
quickly
you go.
then.
Yeah, there was a time in Kaduna where I took somebody with accident to the hospital, and the doctor rejected. A Hausa guy, doctor rejected, and I told the doctor, no way, you have to treat. You're under oath to treat first before anything else. And before the doctor knew that I was taking my stand, and I threatened the doctor before he started to treat the patient. We have been doing these things, but the question is, when it comes to the political level, there are a lot of intricacies. One person, it will be difficult for one person to do it. You need that one person. You also need like minds to help you push that which you need to do, or else if you are the only person, be rest assured. And that's why Jesus Christ died very, very quick.
We're talking about the challenge of stigmatization in Nigeria. With me in the studio, Mr. Timothy Dokpesi Adidi. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us through that commercial break. Still listening to Invicta 98.9 FM and with our guest, Mr. Timothy Dokpesi Adidi. And we're talking about the challenge of stigmatization in Nigeria. Before we went on that break, you were talking about finding like minds to do the work. But even apart from finding like minds, I think that Nigerians, we owe it at this point, especially those who have, that spirit of a one Nigeria, to speak up when we see things being done right. Because often than not, what we do is we leave those people to face the vitriol from the crowd alone. Would you agree?
Yeah, I will agree with you. I will agree with you because like again, we still falls back to human nature. It still falls back. You see, you need to understand.
How is it? Let me
say something.
No, hold on, Mr. Adidi,
yes.
please. How, I understand you explained that social stigmatization is human nature, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around that because the examples are many.
No, I don't say human nature. I say human problem. There's a difference between human nature and human problem.
Okay, so fine. I wanted to just bring out a quick example. Now, when James Ibori was let go, released from prison in the United Kingdom, we saw a large, a huge part of the decision makers, policy makers, and who is who in Delta State. They actually made ankos. You know what we call anko? Similar clothing to welcome back
him. Yes, exactly.
Their son.
Yes,
and then he looted that state, looted Delta State, and then the money comes in. And then at this point, we start to argue whether the money is meant for the state or for the country. By the way, the country fought to have that back. Delta State did not make enough noise to the United Kingdom because it was their person. And so it baffles me, sincerely, why we as Nigerians, because even in the United States of America, where things are not rosy as it used to be, they still have common decency. I take you to a person of Andrew Cuomo of New York, the governor of New York, who is facing, sexual abuse allegations. People in the Democratic Party, Andrew Cuomo is one of the governors who was really loud and, in support of, Democrats must take it back. But today he's facing allegations of his own, and Democrats have told him, you should resign. You are a disgrace. So why can we not, even in the midst of this, make those delineations and say, look, at this point, no, we cannot take this.
You see, we're in a country where people don't think critically. We're not critical in our thinking. And that is why it has affected our state of ethics and morality in this country. We're not critical. Because if you're critical, you know that what the young man did, what Ibori did was wrong. And you don't align yourself with things that are wrong. So an average Nigerian, he builds his principles on sentiments. He builds his principle on sentiments, be it ethnic, be it religious. And I've told somebody once, I said, if you're going to vote for me, don't vote for me because I'm a Christian. If you're going to vote for me because I'm a Christian, don't vote for me. If you're going to vote for me because I'm a Muslim, then don't vote for me. And if you're going to vote for me because I'm from Edo State, please don't vote for me. Or if I go to my state and I'm going to vote and you vote for me because I'm from Agenibode, please don't vote. Vote for me because you know I can deliver. That's what is important. So, you see, and that is why we need to begin to marry politics and morality in Nigeria. Our political morality in Nigeria is very, very poor. And that goes back to the idea of political education. So, look, and take note, education does not mean going to university. It goes beyond that. Because, and that is why I don't want to let it not be as if I'm marketing my university. What we center on in Veritas University is character formation. We no longer talk about degrees. Degrees is not, anybody can get a degree. Anybody can acquire a degree. But character formation is very, very key. And the character formation means knowing what is right from what is wrong. That is why we have a problem in this country. We don't know what is right from what. So in fact, for them to have even been struggling for that money to come back to Delta State, for me that was even the height of national insult. National insult. That the money should come back. How will they be able to verify whether that money was stolen from Delta State? What is the parameters?
No, even if they're able to even prove that it was money looted from Edo, but this was the same man you welcomed.
Yes.
With Anko.
You shouldn't have even done that in the first place. To have even gone to the airport to welcome. That's my point. So if you see that it's a big problem. It's a big problem. We are in a country where people applaud people who steal money. If today you elect me as Minister for Education and I don't build a duplex in my village, you can rest assured that if I leave that office, people will not regard me and say, your mate they build mansion, you don't build mansion as Minister of Education. If I become a Minister of Education and I said, okay, it's time for employment and I want to employ people who are credible, people who are qualified based on merit, and if 20% does not come from my state or my village, the first people to attack me are people from my state or people from my village. Even if they are not qualified, they expect that you fix them somewhere. It's a problem.
Let me quickly, before we open up the phone lines, let's come back local.
Yes.
And talk about the person of Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai.
No, that man is exceptional because we have seen that man. You see, people try to, when I project the Kaduna State Governor as a social engineer, I am being condemned. Of course, a lot of people will make comment that the governor is this. Look, El-Rufai is not perfect, but I think El-Rufai, to some extent, looking at the situation now in this country, we could say that El-Rufai is close to a perfect model as it is now. In as much as he has his weakness, and we are not going to begin to dwell on that, but El-Rufai came on board. I know that Yorubas are working with El-Rufai. Igbos are working with El-Rufai. Even those El-Rufai is employing in Kaduna State are not necessarily indigenous from Kaduna State. I know a young girl who is Igbo that is working with Kaduna State government. Now, this was how we knew it then, when we were growing up in Kaduna. I knew some of my mother's friends those days who were in Kaduna State Civil Service. It was like that. That was how we met it. So, in as much as El-Rufai is doing his best to ensure that we go back to that status quo where citizenship is very, very key. Yes, I also know that he has his own weakness, of which I know that maybe in good time, maybe he's going to realize this weakness for him to work on it. But the truth is this, El-Rufai is this. And of course, when he started working in Kaduna North and was not focusing on Kaduna South, I know once in a while I will send him email. I have written on Facebook, I have written on a lot of social media online platform to always draw his attention to Kaduna South. He has started. El-Rufai is working in Kaduna South. What I would like to know, and if we say that El-Rufai is busy destroying homes, see, the truth is this. I have always said it. I go through Narai, for example. I will tell my friends, I say, if El-Rufai come here now, begin to break houses, they'll say the man bad. But for goodness sake, look at the road. Look, cars can barely pass on the same. So, you see, when you talk talk about people who are social engineers. You see, they do things without sentiments, most especially when they begin to use reason as the basis for the actions. You understand? But again, El-Rufai being a human being, sometimes you see him making some, which is normal. I don't expect him to be perfect, but at least we can go for a lesser evil. To some extent, El-Rufai is, for me, is a lesser evil. In the midst of what we are, based on what he's doing in Kaduna State, let's say the truth. El-Rufai, since he came into office, this issue of Kaduna State crisis that we were known for, aside the kidnapping and but when it comes to social activities, and even because of the COVID-19 that interrupted a lot of things, Kaduna by now would have transformed into a social environment that people can come. And of course, at a point, even before COVID, people were trooping into Kaduna. You understand? People were trooping into Kaduna. So whether we like it or not, in as much as, like I said, he has his own weakness.
Is there a perfect person?
No, nobody is perfect. Paul Kagame is not perfect. You know, there are people who are still complaining of Paul Kagame.
Indeed.
Everybody still complaining of Paul Kagame. Even Donald Trump, that you are seen as the worst man, people are praising Donald Trump.
Right.
But the truth is this: when we bring it to the table of reason, when we bring it to the table of rationality, when we bring it to the people of when we bring it to the table of critical analysis, you will discover that, and you make people see the other side. You know, one thing is that as human beings, you know, people talk from different sides, and you understand with them because we are human beings.
Well, a lot of people want to talk to you. Let's save your closing submission and let's go take some calls this evening. The numbers are 081 40,000 989. We can only take about 2 calls. We've run out of time. 07087 800 989. Please make your submission short so that we can take at least another call. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? Good evening and welcome. Go ahead. 30 seconds. Who are we with?
I've had the analysis. Okay.
Okay, Engineer Emmanuel. Go ahead quickly.
I think the only thing that this country should move forward, if we should propose a solution, let there be fairness, equity, and justice for all.
So we're looking for a social engineer.
So that this country will move on. When you carry everybody along, exactly all this agitation, all these things is not.
But Engineer Emmanuel, thank you. I hear you. Carry everybody along. But when the governor,
before I drop, I want to disagree with your guest. The last statement he made.
Yes.
It's not for 19.
Yes.
That Kaduna shall be more than what it is. Under COVID-19, River State are commissioning for every day. So that's what is not an excuse. So let them do the work so that every region will feel the impact of this work in Kaduna and across.
Okay. Okay, Engineer, we have another call. Let's take this one. We'll address you. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, you're welcome. Your name?
My name is Nicholas, calling from Ngayelo.
Okay, go ahead quickly, Nicholas. 30 seconds, please.
What your guest is saying on radio, honestly speaking, what El-Rufai is doing. So, to some extent, is doing what he wishes to do. But to us, honestly speaking, we are talking about people he drove from office and other things like that are never show his decision to become a honest somebody in government.
So you don't think that he's done well?
I would not say. If I would score him, I would score him that.
Okay, all right. So we'll come back to that. Let's take this one last call. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Welcome. You have 20 seconds, please.
Oh, please. The origin of our problem.
Your name? Your name.
I am Pastor Mike.
Pastor Mike, please submit quickly.
The origin of our problem is a religious problem. If we set it apart, Nigeria is one.
Okay. All right. And that was really short and to the point. We have religious problems. The other person says that he doesn't think that the governor of Kaduna has done well. If he has to score, he would say 30. But and then Engineer Emmanuel said even during the COVID, that was Nicholas. And then Engineer Emmanuel said even during COVID, River State was commissioning projects. How would you
Yeah,
respond?
you should understand the dynamics in Kaduna State and the dynamics in Rivers State are two different dynamics. Rivers State did not go through the political history, socio-political history that Kaduna State has gone through, and again, you should understand that Rivers State cannot also compare what they have to what Kaduna State have. And even if you want to do that comparison, Rivers State should have gone even more than where they are today. So let's not even do that comparison, because development is not, you can't compare development, because everybody develop at his own space, and that's why Paul Kagame is where they are today. Donald, United States of America, they are where today, and we are where to are today. So that comparison is a no-go area. Then for the guy who said Governor El-Rufai has not, look, everybody is entitled to his opinion. El-Rufai does not pay me. El-Rufai does not know me. El-Rufai has never called me. I don't even know the road to government house. El-Rufai is from Kaduna State. I am from Edo State. But I'm only saying, from what I've seen so far, from my own perception of what he has done, I think, though he's not perfect, but to me, he's doing his best. That is all.
Okay. At this point, I would like to thank you. We have less than 3 minutes, so we have to let you go. Hopefully, it will not take another 3-4 years before we have you come talk to us again. Your social commentary is the type that I think we need, because it triggers us to think. It triggers us to take a look at the bigger picture of what is going on in our nation, and hopefully we will be able to build a better Nigeria moving forward. Mr. Timothy Dekwesi Adidi, thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
We have a huge problem of stigmatization. Restructuring, going our separate ways. I beg you, take a look at the countries around you. Take a look at the examples that we have and ask yourself again if that is the solution. If you are able to come to the conclusion that many patriotic Nigerians have come to, that it isn't, then we can start to discuss what indeed is really our problem and how we surmount it. On Spot On, you know how we say it. Nigeria is a project, and we must continue to positively impact on this project, because without it, who are we? Remain victorious.